Well, folks, good morning. It's another day. Kansas City. Snow. Say bye-bye. It's 36 degrees for the first time, and it might have hit 36 for a few minutes as a high in the last couple of weeks, but today it's 36 degrees at 6 a.m. That's pretty impressive. We're gonna have a big change to our roads here, and it'll be bad for your car wash, good for your local car wash company. I was disgusted to see my car yesterday. It was so beautiful after its car wash. I parked it in the driveway. It just made me so happy to look at it, and then to see the filth that covered every panel of the car yesterday from all the slush and the ice sheets. It's a very dirty set of ice. I don't know, a dirty versus clean ice. I don't know what decides that, but the stuff that came down last night, it was really no bueno. And it just left a big bunch of dirt. But there you have it. Most of America is asleep right now, even on the East Coast. It's 4 a.m. in California, so probably not an ideal time to be streaming. But here we are. I really wanted to do this because I'm not sure how many more days I'm going to get to do this before the 1-year anniversary of the channel, which is coming up on the 30th. That's in 8 days. And I don't think I'm going to be around to commute that day, so this might be our last stream before the 1-year anniversary. I hope not, but maybe. So I'm going to savor it. I'm going to treasure some facts that have happened since this idea got in my head. One of them was reaching 100,000 people with my thoughts. And that's what, I'm proud of the fact that it is thoughts. It's not my cleavage in a shirt. And, I probably have cleavage, okay? But it's not the kind that people like. And probably not normal people anyways. So, a lot of people out there, they're selling that. And I'm not selling that. I'm selling ideas. That's what I'm about. I'm not about being somebody's eye candy or whatever, okay? And that, to me, there's meaning there in that outreach. So these are all good things. Seeing the channel grow from, the other thing that's remarkable is just how crummy the content kind of is, especially in the beginning. I didn't know how to talk the whole time that long. I didn't even know that was wanted until somebody called me on the phone and said, you need to talk. I don't want to watch your drives. Now, there are people who watch drives. They will watch them for hours. I saw a channel, it had to have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And all it is are silent dash cam films. I hadn't seen it at the time I started this, but it was something that I had seen before. So it is a thing, but it's one of those like white noise machine substitutes. It's something you watch at bedtime or something. They last the whole time you're in bed or something, just so you can be connected to the internet even while you sleep, right? Interesting choice. So, what's going on in the world? We have a few things these days. The government is potentially going to retroactively increase the child tax credit for families that are eligible. And that could be meaningful for people right now, because withholding in our taxes took out a certain amount of money factoring the tax break. But if it goes up, it could mean up to $3,000 in my pocket, maybe more, for an average family. I think it would be, yeah, if you have 2 kids and you meet all the criteria, you could get $3,000 extra dollars in a fully refundable credit that was not factored in your withholding schedule for the year 2023. You know, they say it was drafted by very senior lawmakers, but it has no chance of passing. I don't understand how you can be the brainchild of the most important people in Washington, but also not have a chance of passing. Something contradicts there. So that's big. What else? Road signs. They're talking about banning DOT road signs that are funny. So if you ever see anything like Arrive Alive, I don't even know if that meets the humor threshold. And that's what I don't understand, is how do you determine what is humor and what is not in a regulatory context? Now, if you're the federal government, you're saying, all right, you states, you're getting a little too cheeky and a little too clever with your custom-made teletype signs. All right. The signs are so funny and so intriguing that people are pulling off to the side of the road to take a picture of the sign. They're pulling out their phones as they drive by to take a picture of the signs, and it's just not good for highway safety. Now, to the extent that's true, I agree. But I don't know that that's really happening. What I think is that the state governments are getting a lot more love than the federal bureaucrats, because they're being funny, they're being engaging, and they're being clever. And the people who are funding these agencies, who are not as popular or liked, are not very happy about it. That's my guess. So, what do we got going on with these roads? They are wet. Nothing like yesterday. 35 degrees, well above freezing. Snow doesn't stand a chance on the road, in the grass. It could last through the afternoon. We'll just see how warm it's going to get. Yesterday was a wild ride because I went into it with false confidence. What does that mean? Yesterday was literally a wild ride. I was under the belief that someone I know had driven to work, tried to beat all the traffic, and got there extra early. So I thought, and it happened to be along a route, pretty much along the route I would have taken to work. So I was confident. I felt good. If you watched the stream yesterday, which is uploaded now, you know that I had some confidence based on what I thought was somebody else who had made the trip. Come to find out, that person wasn't there at all. I got to work there was a handful of cars in the parking lot, probably half the number as usual, maybe a quarter of the number as usual in the parking lot. And I'm wondering, where is everybody? And there's a sign on the door that says we are closed until 9:30 due to inclement weather. And actually the doors were going to be locked, and I could have stayed home a little bit if I had known about the announcement. And the person who I thought had made it actually hadn't made it. So that's no bueno. I mean, it's not bad because I was fine, but I had confidence that the roads were passable based on the thought that someone had gone by an hour earlier and arrived alive. And it turns out this is an interesting stop. I'm struggling to sort of stop here. I don't know if it's just the weight differential. So last week I actually, for 3 days, I did something a little different. If you're just joining, we're in Kansas City area, driving through the rain. The snow is melting. It is wet everywhere. My car got filthy yesterday because nasty weather, so I'd rather drive this one. But I was just talking about how last week I drove a different car and sort of, how do we say, enjoyed it, right? I could listen to music. I got a lot more miles per gallon than this car. It was enjoyable in a lot of respects. And it sort of hit me at some point. I said, this is what it's supposed to be like. You're not supposed to be bored. You're supposed to be kind of settling in, getting comfortable, and riding to work. It can be almost a rejuvenating time to have a commute to yourself. I've heard a lot of people say that commuting is good for yourself. It can be sort of a break that builds itself into your day if you let it. Well, in this car, without all the frills and thrills, I'm not sure that it was. I would scroll through radio stations because radio was the only choice, and listen to the same commercials. And I think there's a conspiracy in radio where all of the channels, because they're all owned by the same companies, they set their ad breaks at the same time. So you can scroll through, and really all you're getting are the same ads from the same companies, contracted with the same ad agencies, and it's all kind of a conspiracy. At least that's my theory. Now you will have randomly the independent radio station that pops up, kind of a new brand, and of course it gets bought out by Clear Channel or whatever, and then it turns into it. I've been doing this for so many years in this car that I sort of watched it happen. I could name off a few dead radio stations that used to be famous, used to be good to me, and it's all kind of sad that I lost so much time in the FM radio rabbit hole. Alright, so I still don't understand why my windshield's wet. There's just a lot of wetness everywhere. It's not raining, I don't think, but we just have a lot of water. It's splashing. It's like I went through the car wash or something. It's just everywhere, and we're getting there. So we are just about to get on the highway. One of the things about this highway is that it kind of gets a lot of puddles. Watch out for that. Let's see what happens. So, all right. This is again, for whatever reason, reason is stopping. That's kind of why I brought up the other car, is it stops differently than this heavy thing. So let's go over some questions I got yesterday. Yesterday we had some questions. We are in the Kansas City area. The weight of my car is questionable because the registration says the gross weight is 5,498 pounds. If you Google, the weight is about 7,300 pounds. I'm not sure why there is this discrepancy, if you will. What I've found is that it matters, because what's the difference between a 5,000 pound car and a 7,000 pound car? Well, first of all, a 7,000 pound car is eligible for a Section 179 deduction, which is a straight deduction for the purchase of the car by a business, which is something I've looked into doing. But if the car is actually only 5,500 pounds, it does not qualify for the Section 179 deduction under the IRS tax code, which I won't get into why that's important to me, but there are some reasons why that's important. What's the other thing that's important? A 7,000 pound vehicle is the equivalent of a 3/4 ton pickup truck. It's heavy duty. What makes those special? You can survive a crash in a 3/4 ton truck a lot more likely than a half ton because of the extra weight. Weight can save your life. I've seen this so much so that I really wanted to buy a heavy, inefficient truck for the whole reason of that weight. I have seen a person walk away unharmed from a head-on collision at highway speed. Notice, a head-on collision at highway speed in a Ford F-250. And it was from about 2005. It was an older truck. They don't make them probably as heavy anymore. But the guy, his wife, and his dog were all inside the truck. They were on a 2-lane highway, and a drunk driver or moron, whatever, crossed the line going the opposite direction of travel, okay? And hit them head on. And they didn't even need to go to the doctor, the hospital, nothing. This claim's old enough. I know that they never came forward. They never had a problem. And I'm just blown away by that. I've never seen anything like that. It had me very compelled to look into sort of maybe a high country Chevrolet 2500 or something. Not a cheap ride, but you can find them. They're commercial grade trucks, but they can also be decked out with the luxury package, and it's not a bad looking vehicle at all. And also, it's essentially bulletproof, and so that's what had my attention when I was looking at cars. That's why I think that heavy is good and high is good. That's the other thing with those trucks, is that they're higher off the ground, right? The higher you are off the ground, the more likely you are to live. And that's bad news for Tesla people and good news for Rivian SUV people, right? Because that's one thing that's probably worth looking into, is the extra weight from these electric vehicles, I would not be shocked if, say, the Rivian SUV has fantastic fatality ratings. Why? Because it is kind of lifted up. And it is going to be pretty heavy because it's the weight of all the battery cells that weigh down the electric cars, right? So electric cars are in some ways the pet of the regulators because they don't have emissions. But then you have this other set of regulators who are the sort of safety gurus. And the safety gurus don't like electric cars because electric cars are so heavy that they kill more people when they hit them, and that's bothering them. So we have this tension in the government, right, between do we want the no emissions or do we want more safety? And what's scary is they're going to do the same thing that they did with gas engines, right? They're going to push to increase efficiency by decreasing weight. And if you do that with electric cars, it's just going to make them way more dangerous for the occupants. You're going to say, well, let's save a pedestrian, let's save a person in a lightweight gas car by somehow reducing the weight of the electric cars. And, you know, the bottom line is it is sort of zero-sum. The people in the heavy cars live and the people in the light cars don't. And the people in the light cars don't spend as much money on their cars, maybe can't afford, you know, things like that. So then it becomes this sort of, you know, social status, class, rich versus poor situation. And as a solution to just take away heavy cars, some people think it kind of is. They're at war with heavy cars. They want them gone. They want trucks gone. They want SUVs gone. They don't want them produced. They don't want them bought. The gas guzzler tax credit, what was the purpose of that? It was to get trucks and SUVs off the roads. They don't want them. And not just because of emissions, because they're popular, they sell well, and the government doesn't like that. They just don't like it. If you look at Europe, how many trucks do you see in Europe? Not a lot. Even their hauling trucks look different. You open up a Ford F-150. Do you know what language you see? You see two languages. One, English. Two, Arabic. Arabic. That's who's buying pickup trucks. It's people in states, governments where the gasoline is $1 a gallon. Literally, because they produce the oil, there are no costs baked in, so you can drive any car you want without regard for fuel efficiency. You can get a 3-hour cab ride for $50. I mean, it's you're not seeing it in Europe, for example. It's over-regulation in the West. It's take away things that are bad for public policy as we see it. And does that mean that the government's coming for us? Not really. When given a chance, they will prefer what they prefer. Looks like we lost our connection there. That's what I get for talking about the government. They will shut me down. I won't do that again. I won't have opinions. Alright. So what's going on here? I'm going 63 in the left lane and passing people. People in the right lane are going a little bit faster. I'm going to get a mist coming from behind my car. It's ridiculous. There's just going to be a lot of water out there today. The windshield is getting covered, and it's got to be a little rain. Let's see, pretty heavy congestion now. Southbound side. 6:40 in the morning. I'm kind of surprised by all this traffic, honestly. I don't know why there's so much traffic right now. I don't know where people are going on a Tuesday. They do say Tuesdays are the most productive day of the week. And I also suspect maybe people are having tacos at happy hour and they're going to leave work early, so maybe you go in early and leave early. I don't know. That might explain. I'm going in early, but for no good reason other than I just happen to get up early, and it's one of those things where if I goof off, then something's going to happen, and I'm going to wish I had gone in early. Also, I have a lot of emails that I really wanted to answer last night. I felt the urge. I said, I don't want to be someone who works at night, but I had a lot of emails that I wanted to respond to. I have the answers in my head, I just haven't sent them. And I even blew somebody off who wanted to have a call last night, actually, so if I get started early, I'll be feeling good about it. But anyways, when you wake up early, the question is, am I going to crash early? Am I going to get so tired at like 3 o'clock that I can't even work it? And so sometimes to sort of manage that risk, I think now just go on in, get started, and if I do anything, I'm going to buy a windshield wiper, because this wiper, if you can see it, it's actually split for the first 4 inches. It's not even functioning. It's probably right in sight here, which is no beta. Well, here we are. Well, that guy has no lights on. He has his parking lights on. And that's an orchid truck. That's very interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to foggy Kansas City. I have what are called fog lights on this car. Fog lights are these small lights under the headlight that operate only when I push a button. And if you're just joining, we have a fog advisory this morning in Kansas City, and I was just talking about how I am equipped with fog lights on this vehicle. Fog lights are an optional addition to most vehicles. You'll see the holes for them in the front bumper. They're small, round holes. And if you pay for the option, the holes have a set of lights. If you don't pay the option, you don't have the set of lights. And for me, I happen to have a car that had the set of lights, but they were not functioning. Bought 2 can lights from the internet. I installed them myself, and it was a pretty dirty job. And now I have fog lights. They only operate when I push the button on the instrument panel. And they'll turn off whenever I shut the car off. I don't know that they make a huge difference, but I get a sense that they're not supposed to be on most of the time, for whatever reason. So, I have those on, and let's see. Slowing down a lot. The weather is not our friend today. And the issues with the weather is not that it's unsafe. It's that it makes other people just drive differently. And those changes in driving practices are what cause accidents. Usually, they're increased vehicle interactions, passing an unnaturally slow car. So we're getting on I-70. This is a major east-west interstate that runs across the country. It runs through Denver, it runs through the Rocky Mountains, runs across the country, right? So the sign for the sports complex is where the Kansas City Royals, for now, play, as well as the Kansas City Chiefs for the time being. That's on our right. Sometimes it's lit up quite nicely in the dark. If there's a game that evening or something, it's a nice thing to see and look at. It's not a nice thing to enjoy the traffic fallout. I do sometimes make sure and factor the game schedules and what I'm doing. I think anybody in this area does, because the traffic can back up pretty good before or after the game. Let's just go see if I can see anything. It's so foggy today, I can't see a lot. There is a blue light on the stadium. That's pretty cool. Alright, so if you're just joining, there's a fog advisory in Kansas City. You've got the fog lights on. You're trying to keep the windshield clean. It's not really working. But it's definitely better than the ice and the rain that we had yesterday. School was canceled. At least 100 people called one tow company yesterday to get their cars pulled off of the ditches from sliding off the road. I know I slid down my driveway. I slid into an intersection yesterday. It was ugly. So today we're seeing a much smoother ride, much more normal experience. The tow truck company should really only be getting calls from slid off a road or something. Just pray that you didn't actually collide with anything, because if there's a dent visible on your car will be what's called wreck chased, and that's where a very shady tow company will see that you've been in a wreck and know that if your car's newer, it's probably financed. If it's financed, it has insurance. So it will bank on the fact that you have insurance. It will take your car to a shop of its choice, that gives them a kickback, and that shop will hold your car hostage. You have to figure out where it is, and then your insurance company will get billed for the tow as well as the repairs, and it can be a lot of money. And if you're not prepared for that, it's absolutely something that can happen. It's something that's happened to me. So we've got some road construction here, fog advisory. You can see that it's very hard to see the signage over the fog. I have fog lights that cover the area in front of the car. That's really just to give you extra visibility in a nearly impassable condition. These are passable conditions, but I will tell you that this stretch of road right here around Independence, Missouri, it sometimes has unique and bizarre fog events that nowhere else has. A general fog advisory is from a storm system, but the fog that this stretch of highway can have is very unusual, and it's something to watch out for. I think It's related to certain bodies of water that are off the highway, and when that happens, the fog that comes down in this particular area is ridiculous. And there have actually been situations where fog has been determined to be an industrially created condition from businesses or other things nearby that actually affect the weather to the point that it creates dangerous fog that has caused car accidents. Now the fog that comes here, it's once every 18 months or so. It's not a huge thing. But I think it's in Tennessee where it was in Tennessee where causing big pileups on the highway, things like that. It was quite a deal. So, if you're just joining, we're in I-70. We're going to my office earlier than normal. We left about 30 minutes early because I woke up 30 minutes early. My schedule has been bonkers. I travel a lot for work, but for the last couple of weeks, that's dying down. And that's fine and good, except that, you know, there are days when I'm traveling, I don't have to do anything until the afternoon. That's great, but what does that do to your sleep schedule? It tells you can sleep in until 10 or 11. Then I come back here, and I have to get up at 6:15 every day. That's an unusual change for when I'm on the road, and I can sleep in until 10. So for me to be able to get up and follow this regular routine, which, you know, I shouldn't have issues with, other than the fact that I have to get up early. If I stay up late, I still got to get up 5 hours later, right? Or suffer the consequences. Alright, so we're passing this semi here. I'm going about 65. He's probably speed limited at about 63. Okay. Traction on the road is good. Got this horrible squeaking from the wipers. We're not getting a good, clean scrape, no doubt. Brake lights, I'm just going to slow it down a little bit. We are really slowing down. I don't know if it's from the oncoming. Not on. Oh boy. Okay. We have us a problemo up here, folks. We have a lane blockage and a siren coming up straight ahead of me. I want a zipper because you're supposed to, and it would help me, but I'm just not going to. Moving over for emergency vehicles is different than zippering because of the laning. Now, I don't think anybody else is going to go ahead of me to zipper, even though I wanted to. I'm just not going to. So that's going to slow us down a little bit because we're going to be stuck in the line waiting to go around, but nobody's going to the left. So I'm going to turn y'all this way to help see what's going on. Again, you're not seeing a great view. I'm not seeing a great view. I just see splotches and lights. I use the washer fluid to try and clean it up. We've got a police car. We have road flares. If you look at the ground, you'll see accident flares. Those are safety devices to warn people in the event. Okay, we have up here stranded motorists against. I mean, they're parked so close. Okay, headlights out. They're up against the Jersey wall. I don't know why you'd be up against the Jersey wall to let you crash. Because the way that car is resting, you can't open the driver's door. And the headlight was out, but there was an attempt to flash. They turned on the flashers. But that person probably had some kind of crash, maybe spun around or something and got stuck against that wall. Now, what happens in those situations? Usually some kind of whiplash to the neck. So if you're just never mind. Usually some kind of whiplash to the neck happens, and you'll need to go to the chiropractor. It's getting choppy here, folks. It is not even 7 a.m. This is not usual traffic. This is higher than normal density. It's not the start of a weekend. I really don't understand why this road is so busy today. I really don't. It's the first day. Maybe kids are back to school. Not a loss. Okay, so here we are. We're still about 6 miles from my destination. No, it's more like 7, 8 miles. It's a long drive, as you can see. We're over 40 minutes. Yesterday we were closer to an hour because we couldn't travel at highway speeds, but today things are generally good, other than this unnatural congestion and fog system. There's a fog advisory. I mentioned before I have a fog light assembly on this car that I did replace by hand myself, and that helps for right in front of you, but it doesn't help for the area outside the area in front of your vehicle. So the visibility is not great. I happen to know these roads well, and that's nice. I've traveled this route for about 10 years on a daily basis, twice a day. Even when I lived in my other house, I took this part of the route for at least about 35 minutes every day, each way. And then, as I said one day, what's another 10 minutes when we looked at a different house? So we added another 10 minutes on to the trip. All right, we can definitely tell there's fog here, folks. You cannot see these signs. I know what they say because I know the road, but we are dealing with a serious fog event in this area today. So what do we need to watch out for? We need to watch out for cascading brake lights. If we see brake lights that spread towards us, we know that there's a stoppage in the road or something that's going to be watching. Center lane slowing down, left lane speeding up. This is definitely some serious fog. This is the densest it's been on the drive. So, oh my gosh, I can't even read. Wow, that's standard visibility. It's missing. I could have gotten off at this exit and taken a slower route to the city for the last 3 miles. Actually, I still have that option. I've got one more chance to get off this highway if I want to. This is a Hogan truck. He's flying, at least compared to me, so maybe he can see ahead 12 seconds and it's safe to do what he's doing. Or maybe it isn't. I don't know. More exit ahead. If I want to get off, I can get off. But that still means I'm driving through fog, just on a different level, right? Is it better to be on a road that you know well and can generally see what every car around you is doing? Probably. So we'll stick with this. Whoever said hi, hello, thank you for joining, and good morning. I have a lot of trouble reading the screen. I'm trying not to even look at it, but oh wow. Usually I can see so much right here, and today I cannot. Most certainly cannot. Billboards can't be seen. All of it cannot be seen. So, was live chat the solution I thought it would be? The short answer is no. It actually took a lot longer to upload the video yesterday than it did to upload a regular full-length video. Why? Because I think they have to re-encrypt or re-encode the video that I'm taking now. It's also in HD. Well, I guess with the backup. Great. And so that just took forever. So here's the real test today. This is our second live stream. Will the second live stream be easier to upload because YouTube is like, I'm brand new to that portion of the platform. I think it's possible. So we're going to try this one more time. This video is also going to be about 10 minutes shorter than the one yesterday, which ought to affect upload times and speeds. But I don't have a direct connection for a mobile. Good morning. If you're just joining, we're dealing with a fog advisory in Kansas City. Visibility is very low. I have fog lights. It's helping. And I'm almost to my destination. In fact, I'm a stone's throw from my destination. So, with that in mind, folks, I will say good morning and good day. Be on your merry way. Thank you for being a part of this as we coming up on our 1-year anniversary. And happy Tuesday. If you're just joining, thank you. I'm signing off as I'm almost to work. But we got through quite a bit of fog today, and we also saw an accident. So when I get this uploaded, you can go back and check that out. Whoa. Fire. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.